All right.
Fair enough.
Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Cyberpunk. You guys punched deck.
So
you guys are Dixie Flatline.
the
freaking cowboys.
Dude, there is so much fucking slang and cyberpunk jargon in that thing.
Cool.
Yes.
Okay.
Ripper Duck.
I came out of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Was it stim hack?
Did
like,
anyone get their synapses fried by black ice?
I think they are spending eddies.
There are future drugs. There are future drugs that you can take whenever you want to.
Eddies is short for Eurodollars, the global currency.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. This is already good. This is already good.
I came out of that thing feeling I wanted to just I don't know, cop some nanos and flip chips on some deck junkies or whatever. Like it's just non-stop.
Yes.
So
It's like the Aaron Sorkin of cyberpunk jargon and slang.
I imagine
Crazy.
some of that comes from the source material.
Yeah, the tabletop.
the tabletop game,
yeah.
you know.
They
So
reference the tabletop stuff.
I would like to start with just the two. Brad and I had two different perspectives looking at it. Where you described it as very shorthand.
So a lot of people I've seen before this that saw it were referring to it as a first-person GTA in a future cyberpunk setting, which I feel like is pretty spot on.
And I came at it as this looks like Deus Ex with a car.
I think
But they both mean the same thing, I think. We're coming at it from different ends, but those things meet in the middle.
You also managed to slip into a demo.
Yes, I did.
You hacked your way in there.
I did. I thought
You busted out your red box and then used the payphone to call in. You whistled 2600 hertz, and then you saw the demo.
all of these things. I thought it was incredible. It's definitely the best game I've seen this year. I had not thought of the GTA thing at all, but I really thought there was some Elder Scrolls stuff going on there, especially with the dialogue choices.
It's kind of all that stuff, yeah.
And just the way there's so many ways that you could approach everything. Like in Elder Scrolls, I think there's a lot of times where you'll just encounter a group of people and you could go through the motions, you could do the conversation, like the part where you're meeting up with the people, the military, the Militech people, and you could just smoke them all right there and then steal their money on that chip or whatever.
Or later on, the demo guy said you never even had to meet up with them. In the course of completing that quest, you could have skipped that rendezvous entirely.
Yeah, can't you go to get the spider bot thing and then not even deal with the military?
So it is GTA, it is Deus Ex, it is Skyrim. It's a lot of things you have seen.
Is it The Witcher with computer chips in first person?
It's not The Witcher at all. It is a first-person shooter.
Yeah, I know that, but I mean, structurally, is the style of storytelling, is the dialogue stuff, is it?
I think in the way that you could go so many different, vastly different ways of approaching a quest. Because in The Witcher, you could really go like the Bloody Baron thing. There's
Is there Cyber Gwent?
Not yet.
Not that I saw.
No, you can look at advertisements. If you see a soda advertisement, you can go up, press a button, and it'll put a little thing on your compass saying, hey, if you want to go buy that soda, go here. Here's the nearest vending machine.
Sweet.
I mean, in that The Witcher
Now
was,
that's dystopian.
The Witcher was an RPG. This has points you will put into different spots.
One of your
on the
starting
character.
stats is cool. it's like strength, intelligence, constitution,
Street cred.
hack. The last stat is cool. Like the character they made had a 4 in cool.
Wow.
You do not choose a class. It's not a class-based game, so you're not choosing a class, but you're creating a character. You
named V.
named V, which could be gendered male or female.
Yeah.
It's
It seems like there's cool customization that you'd want from the customization you'd want from a game that has Cyberpunk in the title, and they were very.
Mirror shades.
I didn't see your character wearing mirror shades. Lots of robotic arms.
Tigers on jackets.
Lots of
all kinds of cyber lines on people's faces.
Lots of cords, like USB cables coming out of people's arms.
Yeah, you got a standard port in your wrist. That you plug
Dudes
into
that
shit.
had the whole front of their heads removed and replaced with lights.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
shit.
You fight a gang. You fight a gang who is described as basically wanting to become full machines. Like they take it a step further than
That's
everybody
me,
else.
man.
And the gang leader, the entire top half of his face is caved in, and there's just a bunch of lights there.
And I want to.
Does anyone have their eyes modified to refract the light like a cat?
I guarantee somebody.
Probably.
All right.
Like the thing I
Get
want.
an iMod in the demo.
Fantastic.
So
Shine.
okay, so big urban environment with tons of NPCs walking around and a car-centric navigation model. Like that's the GTA part.
Okay.
Immersive sim shit like, oh, I could hack my way through this if I had enough hacking, or I could climb up here, or I could just shoot,
You could cool your way
or I
through
can
something.
talk my way through stuff. Like there's that.
I imagine cool is just the talk your way through stuff.
I think of it. I think of it.
Charisma,
I think of it as the mustache rating from Mario and Luigi.
Sure.
A stash. It's a stash.
Yeah.
Stuff that reminded me a lot of Syndicate in that you can hack a downed enemy. You can hack a downed enemy to then get access to their network and turn off. It seemed like turn off turrets or access. To
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So like, oh, you're gonna hack this guy.
Remember that part where you hack the dude?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It zooms into his head, and it's like the coolest looking interface for a cyber anything I've ever seen.
If you sneak up on him and like hold him hostage, like non-lethal, whatever, you can hack. Like his gun network is connected to all of his gangs or whatever.
Yeah, you can access his whole gang's net.
Yeah, so once you're in there, you can just like hang on the walls with these like mantis blades, and you can look at all of his like gang members and say like, oh, your guns don't work.
Yeah, you can hack the guy so his gun jams.
Guns.
So that kind of reminded me of Syndicate in a couple of ways.
Yeah.
So the reason I keep rattling the stuff off is like I don't feel like any one element of this is something you've never seen before.
Sure.
Like every individual mechanic has some analog somewhere else.
Right.
But as a vehicle for this aesthetic, like it is maybe the most well-realized setting or close to the most that I've ever seen.
Feels like
it is so fucking
they have
Cyberpunk.
covered the canvas with
like every fucking bit of the UI and the interactions and the dialogue and everything about it is just like dripping with that particular atmosphere.
With stuff, I want to say there were labels popping up over everybody as you're walking through.
Like
I don't think this was part of the UI, but I want to say it said like Dirt Boy.
Every person you see,
that's me.
You scan people and it's like Dirt Boy.
Dirt Boy is jacking in.
Like this guy's a Dirt Boy. That lady is a Corpo Rat. Like just all kinds of
like Watchdogs that give any personal information on them.
I think if you scan, so you get an upgrade from your hacker doctor. What's it?
The Ripper Doc. Once you go to the Ripper Doc,
you got an eye upgrade that let you do.
Wait, is the Ripper Doc like DOC, like a doctor, or is it a doc?
He is a doctor. Like he gives you anesthetics and drugs.
His name is Dr. Vector.
Fuck!
And he like,
I know, right?
You get an upgrade that like shaves off all the skin from the front of your hand.
I've been thinking about doing that anyway. No fingerprints, man.
You also get a new eye installed from first person, so the claw comes in and pulls your eye out.
Dead Space 2.
And then
reboots your eyes with better vision.
Okay. Oh no, I'm back in.
So then you get the scan. You get a scan that just makes it look like Terminator vision, and then you get the like brackets around people and then text on them.
Even those brackets, like even the scanning, the effect, the treatment around scanning people with that new eyeball is like the coolest shit I've ever seen.
And that shows like weaknesses to like elemental stuff and everything, like threat level very low. Like you look at the doctor after you get the thing and threat level very low. It's Terminator.
It's Terminator.
So you see other characters' cool level?
I
don't think so.
Okay.
Like it is so fucking like eye-popping day-glow cyberpunk that I feel like we're gonna have to retire the best style category after this comes out.
Wow.
Like I'm not trying to be hyperbolic.
We got a couple of
here,
years
like,
still. But
it was a 50-minute demo, and you just feel like exhausted at the end because there's so much shit coming at you.
So I was talking to Austin Walker, and he was like breathlessly explaining to me how great all this stuff looked.
I bet.
And one of the things he was describing was like, oh, you get this gun, and like the HUD looks great because it'll show like it'll ricochet off walls, and you can like see the line it's gonna take. And like describing it doesn't really do it justice because it's like games have done that before, where it's like a pool game where you can see how it's gonna like ricochet. But all the HUD stuff, it just all looks so fucking good.
It's
really
neat, and the weapons. So there definitely is a hey, do you want to hack in here, stealth in here, talk your way in here, talk your way out of here.
Yeah.
The weapons though, they kind of back half of the demo was a big weapons demo of okay, here's a handgun, it does the ricochet thing, we got a mod for it. We're gonna just unlock stuff. Let's go. Let's debug this. And then it was, okay, here is like, I'm gonna get all the name wrongs, but here's Militech weapons. They can penetrate. This can penetrate cover. It's their weapons have this kind of property, almost in a kind of started reminding me of a Borderlands company style thing.
Kind of,
like,
yeah.
Okay, and then the corporate tech
corporate weapons. Corporate weapons.
These are top of the line.
They're high quality. They don't degrade as fast. And stuff like that.
So
did you get a fucking sword?
You get mantis blades.
You got the blades, which you could hang from the wall with one and like.
So it's one of those things where your forearm splits open and then the blades come out.
Yeah, I got one of those.
Though in her room, in her apartment, on the wall there are swords.
Okay.
So that was kind of neat.
Are the guns coded in such a way? You talk about these different types of weapons. If you shoot somebody, you probably can't take their gun, or do you have to hack something to take their gun and be able to use it?
So that thing I was telling you about, where they shave off the part of the hand or whatever, it replaces it with like this like cyber glove material just on the underside, and that makes it so like you can grab guns, I believe, and it'll like get past the locking mechanism or whatever.
Can you hitch a ride on the back of moving
Remember the
cars?
part where Dr.
Yeah, can you sketch?
I didn't see that.
cars.
No.
Okay.
Like, I just remembered the part where Dr. Vector's putting your eye in and he's talking about how he's got a shaky Gannic hand.
Yeah.
Because he's a doctor who puts in mods, but he has none himself. He's full human, and he's just like, it's like, I got a shaky Gannic hand, I might miss or something.
So he did have a like sick glove, like a Freddy Krueger glove.
Oh, because you're giving him shit for seeming like a dentist, and he's like, oh, I might fuck up because I'm an organic.
Yeah.
It was neat. I got a lot of Deus Ex vibes just from the Deus Ex and Syndicate. I mean, Syndicate probably from the aesthetic, but a lot of you can. If we had at some point the character walked up to a door and said, it was like, if we had a higher security clearance rating, I could hack through this door. I don't have that. Oh, it was hacking. If I had a higher hacker skill, I could get through this door. Let's go to the fuse box. I have a high engineering skill. I can basically reset the power here. And that really reminded me of like, oh, okay, I can lift this grade up. There's
always a way in, depending on what you stepped into. It'll be slightly different.
Yes.
So is that like a lot of mini games then? Or
No,
like,
no.
He didn't hack anything in that demo. I don't know how that works.
But like, was the engineering fuse box stuff that wasn't like?
It was a prompt, and then the person,
connect the pipes.
Well, when
it
you
said
hack into that
engineering 5, and then
when you hack into that guy's brain, it does have that like cluster of data or whatever that kind of like splits out, and then you have to go into like, the weapons thing to shut down the gang's weapons. So
it didn't seem
really
like
show
a
how that
game.
works. No, it's not like a Bioshock hacking thing or anything.
there was other neat stuff when you're doing the dialogue trees. You seem to be able to interact in a scene, and maybe I'm reading more into this than it was actually there. You're interacting with the scene more than a person, because sometimes it looked like you'd have a person's name, 3 dialogue choices, then another person's name in that same scene, and some other dialogue choices.
But then also your own name sometimes. So sometimes it would say V,
pull
grab
out
the gun, or whatever.
Pull out your gun. But so say V was in there, it would say like V, pull out gun. But say it was like director, mean director, like, I'm not taking this shit, I'll take this shit. And then underneath it would be like bodyguard, grab his gun, and then underneath that would be like V, pull out your own gun. And I thought that was neat.
They can hack you too, so there's one part where you're kind of taken hostage and they hack you, and they have like a lie detector app that's like going into your brain or whatever, and you're still doing dialogue choices. So you
can choose to lie to them knowing that they can tell that you're lying through the back of your head.
And then the demo, he lies, and the other guy's just like, she's full of shit. Like, oh, well, okay.
You meet up with the crime boss in his limo at one point, and when he's giving you the mission, he gives you a chip that you stick in the back of your head, and then you get all this crazy AR shit describing the mission while he's talking to you in your face.
Like this giant Rick Ross dude with this golden like gauntlet arm, like
smoking a cigar.
Yeah. Watching boxing.
Of
course. Yeah.
A lot of boxing.
Though probably the biggest thing I'm not super sure about coming away from that is that the shooting looked a little weightless to me. Like it didn't quite have the impact.
Yes.
Like the pacing was, I mean, they haven't made first-person shooters before. I'm sure they're working on it. But it did not immediately come off as like the most like refined and precise shooter I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Surprising amount of mobility though. Like there are double jumps and like air dashes and things like that, like Call of Duty, like the mech stuff or whatever. There's wall running. There's sticking to the walls. Like a lot more than I would expect from a
Is
first
driving
person.
in first person?
Yes.
It isn't. You can go to third person, but there was one segment where there was like a shootout where a van with a bunch of dudes gets in front of you and grab the wheel and shoot.
Remember Dum Dum?
Yeah.
Dum Dum. We shot Dum Dum.
Oh. He's one of the gang members. The games are so good.
From what you guys can tell, is it a completely solo experience?
Yeah.
A big thing in Shadowrun, I think, is just like recruiting a crew.
There was no
player.
If there's anything like that, they didn't talk about it. They do. It does seem to be sort of day in the life. Like you wake up, like you do a mission at the beginning of the demo, but then you wake up like 3 days later and you're in your apartment. And you can walk around, like you can go in your closet and take clothes out and put them on. You can access your terminal in your room. Like you have a home, you have an apartment that you go back to.
It seems like in the narrative they're telling, from what they showed, you are basically a mercenary looking to get in big, get the big job, and by working your way, like you are introduced to the big man in town, and like if you do this job, you're going to be set up for some big merc work, and I suspect things will take a turn, and the fate of the world will rest in your hands.
Corporations to take down.
Corporations on everything. Numbers pop off of people when you shoot them.
Zaibatsus.
He started off the demo by saying, our game takes place in an alternate timeline where mega corporations run the world. And I was like,
It's called 2019.
Oh! That's Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk.
Also, he started the demo by referring to it as Cyberpunk 77.
Said that often.
Nice.
So that's how I'm going to say it from now on.
Any hint of release window, anything like that?
all.
Any kind of, none of the particulars?
It was probably, out of all the things I have seen, both, I would even include like the Sony press conference. It seemed like a fully realized game. Somebody was playing right next to Brad.
Yeah.
There were prompts on the screen to skip cutscenes. There were, the menu seemed fully fleshed out.
So way further along than like that first Witcher 3 demo that they gave, right?
Totally. Yeah, this seemed like a thing that seemed playable and not in a fake way.
Yeah. It could have just been that one quest that they really made sure was ready for.
Yeah, but
I was talking to Backlar, I saw it with him, and he was really surprised at how far along it did seem.
I mean, that may be the only quest they have in a showable state.
There's a whole
right
open
now,
world they have.
They did say no loading screens. You can move across that whole city seamlessly, and they did. You know, it went from apartment out into your building, downstairs in a car, drive across town, go in this warehouse.
Just seemed and that this is a very naive thing. I have no idea how games are made, but it seemed like a thing that you don't. If you're rushing to stitch together your vertical slice or your gameplay thing for just a show, you're not gonna take the time to put in the skip cutscene button at the lower right.
It's a thing I've definitely heard some devs say a little bit here and there over the last couple of days. Just we don't want to do just work for a demo. We're making the game.
Yeah.
We're making the game and putting all.
And here's
stuff
what we're
in,
just going to show it.
Here's what we have to show that is ready. You know.
So very hard to tell, but it was extremely focused. I feel like I came out of that game knowing exactly what it is, knowing exactly what they're going for. If they told me that game were releasing tomorrow, I would say, okay, I think it looks like they are focused. You know what this is,
right?
And unlike some other stuff you see at E3, we're like, oh, they're finding it.
Yeah, they'll get there.
They'll get there. So,
I could see as early as next holiday, but not too much later past that, like 2020 at the latest, I would think.
Sure. Yeah.
Based on nothing, just a pure guess. So.
Yeah. I 2020 seems like
it's a good year for something.
I mean, the messages people were pulling out of that trailer footage the other day, there's bits in there literally saying we don't know how big this game's going to be at the end. You know, I think they're still building it out.
Yeah.
But going back to what Brad said before, I do also want to say this did not seem like anything that somebody went into the heavens and then brought down
I
from
struggle
the future or anything like that. It looks like a video game. It looks like there's a lot of neat stuff in there, but what Brad said is it looks like it is taking mechanics and elements, putting it together into a very...
it looks like, it sounds like another take on a Deus Ex style.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
you know?
yes.
And
with maybe a little more RPG than that.
Yeah, and great.
Yeah,
I think,
that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, those last couple of Deus Ex games had promise. You know, some hit. You know, the hit to miss portions of those games varied depending on what you were into.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I know. A lot of people seem to be bummed that it's a shooter, not a third-person game. If you don't like FPSs, that sucks.
Sure.
But I will say you do see your character a lot.
Yeah.
In all the cutscenes, I was surprised how much you see. Just even if you just care about what outfit you're putting on and stuff, you're at least going to get to see the character you made. And frequently.
I'm a huge third-person action person. I'll usually take that over first-person. But once I saw the things they were going for in first-person, it made a lot of sense. The scanning, the kind of toggling on of different things, the kind of seeing through walls, also the kind of claustrophobic nature of some of the hallways you can't do in third-person because you just don't have the room there. Right. And I thought it made a lot more sense.
Cool. Well, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. Pretty wild.
Also, I will say for people who really like third person, the guns look pretty awesome to see in first person.
Yeah.
Great.
Like you want to see somebody breaking in?
Yeah, probably.
They're coming back in. It's cool to see future guns very close.
Yeah.
You're going to have to come around the other side.
Yeah.